नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भावत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी ॐ ज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुती देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविष्णुदेवाय श्रीदेवाय नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविष्णुदेवाय नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी मुखं करोति वाचालं श्री गुरु So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. We are on text 32. So these are different types of sacrifices, and Krishna is now coming like a conclusion on these. So 32, 33 will speak about this. Evam bahuvida yajna pitata brahmanukhe karmajam vidhitam sarvam evam gyatva vinokshase. All these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas. Alright, so whatever the list, can we go through the list again? So the first, sorry?
Dravyaman yajna, Dravyaman sacrifice, charitable activities. Second is Tapomaya yajna, like like example in Chaturmas. Third is Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali Yoga, that is also sacrifice. Fourth one is Swadhyaya Yajna,
Okay.
studying of Vedic literatures.
Alright, so we can write down our list. So Krishna starts by worship of the devas. This is one type of sacrifice. And second type of sacrifice is the impersonalist. Just write it down. The impersonalist. First type of sacrifice or worship of the devas. Another type is the impersonalist. The third one is the brahmachari. The brahmachari is he sits down and he listens. Fourth type is the sacrifice of the grihastha, who is giving up the objects of sense enjoyment. And then there are the Ashtanga yogis. So this is another type. So there's the Ashtanga yogi. And then, yeah, the Ashtanga yogi. So there are two categories of sacrifice. One is
Brahmachari.
Two categories of sacrifice. I say there are different types of sacrifice. So this is the devas, there is the sacrifice by Brahman, there is the brahmachari who is sacrificing the sense of hearing, who is sitting down and studying, and then there is the grihastha who are sacrificing sense enjoyment. Right? So these are categorized into two. And then there is the Ashtanga yogi, doing tapasya. So they are refraining from any type of sense enjoyment. So they have a mechanical way. So one is studying, this is his sacrifice. Another one is doing all the yoga system and mechanically controlling the prana. The prana value is connected to all the senses. So when they do all these types of pranayam, so they control the senses and the mind, so that the mind isn't running away. So it's like pratyahar, so they give up all types of sense enjoyment. And then, so why are they performing all this type of sacrifice? They become free from sinful reactions. So the whole theme here is how to become free from sinful reactions. Alright? So by worship of the devas, or by worshipping Brahman, or by sitting and listening. This is the brahmachari, they're sitting day and night, they're only learning. Then there are the grihasthas who are sacrificing the sense objects. And then there is the fifth category, there is the Ashtanga yogis. So 5 categories have been described. And all of them, they are becoming free from sinful reactions. Alright? So unless somebody understands that he is not a body, he is soul, and he should aim for self-realization, why will they all do all this? Right? Like today, all the schools, neither the boys nor the girls know, right? If they will practice brahmacharya, they will become free from sinful reaction. They don't know. Nobody teaches, right? It's not, nobody knows. Only Prabhupada is teaching now to Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, without hesitation, girls are giving up their chastity and boys are giving up their brahmacharya. Without hesitation. Right? Because they don't know that they are accumulating sinful reaction and therefore suffering in different ways. So now Krishna is teaching this. So he said, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? So all these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas. And all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. So different types of sacrifice as discussed above are mentioned in the Vedas to suit the different types of worker. Right? So if you're grihastha, then we should control the mind and senses. How? By donating, right? Instead of just like accumulating your wealth and just for you and your family. We should give in charity, or different, a whole list is given, right? So because men are so deeply absorbed in the bodily concept, these sacrifices are so arranged that one can work either with the body, with the mind, or with the intelligence. But all of them are recommended for ultimately bringing about liberation from the body. This is confirmed by the Lord here from his own mouth. So, like a brahmachari, he doesn't have money. Alright? So what does he do? So what sacrifice will he do? He doesn't own anything. He has no money, he doesn't own anything. So what does he do? So he sits down and he studies. This is his student life. Brahmachari life means this is the student life. Alright? Text 33. Shreyan dharavyamayadyapyat Jnanayagya parantapa Sarvam karma khinam partha Jnane parishamapyate. Neha, you want to take this?
Yes, Mataji. Shreyan greater Dravya Mayat of material possessions, Yagnat than the sacrifice, Jnana Yagna, sacrifice in knowledge, Parantapa, O chastiser of enemy, Sarvam, all, Karma, activities, Akhilam, in totality, Partha, O son of Pritha, Yagna, Jnane, in knowledge, Parisampayate, Parisammapyate, end. O chastiser of enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possession. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work accumulate in transcendental knowledge. The purpose of all sacrifices is to arrive at the status of complete knowledge, then to gain release from material miseries, and completely to engage in loving transcendental service to the Supreme Lord, Krishna consciousness. Nonetheless, there is a mystery about all these different activities of sacrifice, and one should know that mystery. Sacrifices sometimes take different forms according to the particular faith of the performer. When one's faith reaches the stage of transcendental knowledge, the performer of sacrifices should be considered more advanced than those who simply sacrifice material possessions without such knowledge. For without attainment of knowledge, sacrifice remain on the material platform and bestow no spiritual benefit. Real knowledge culminates in Krishna consciousness, the highest stage of transcendental knowledge. Without the elevation of knowledge, sacrifices are completely material activities. When, however, they are elevated to the level of transcendental knowledge, all such activities enter onto the spiritual platform, depending on differences in Krishna consciousness. Sacrificial activities are sometimes called karma kand, fruitive activities, and sometimes gyan kand, knowledge in the pursuit of truth. It is better when the end is knowledge.
giving a conclusion. He's saying that sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than mere sacrifice of possessions. Like everybody, they give some donation. Then we say, take a book. Right? It's good you have given some donation. But we say, take a book. And say, no, we don't go. We just want to give the donation, right? And here Krishna is saying, sacrifice in knowledge is better because you can give a donation here and there, but still you're going to keep so much for sense gratification, right? And you're going to waste your time and life running after sense gratification. Whereas when you have knowledge, you will know how much you need for yourself so that you don't overwork and waste your life. Right? Knowledge is such that we read earlier, Krishna said, in text 22, he who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled. Although performing actions. So when we have knowledge, there will be endeavors, not that you're going to sit and food will come in your mouth. Right? Everybody has to work. But knowledge means that it is already there written. Right? How much food will come to you? How much luxury will come to you? Right? Which vehicle will come to you on your vehicle? Right? All this already so according to its own accord. Yad drichaya labha santushtu. Labh. Yad drichaya labh meaning what is destined. The labh that is destined, and it will come to you.
33.
It will come to you automatically. Alright? So here Krishna is saying, the purpose of all sacrifices is to arrive at the status of complete knowledge. Then to gain a release from material miseries, and ultimately to engage in loving transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, Krishna consciousness. So we are giving donation, right? See, like life members. So they're donating. What do? We give them a whole set of books. Right? And we hope they will come from a satsang. So many life members became devotees. They got the books, we started reading, we started following, so they got knowledge. So by giving that donation, finally the person, they started reading, so they got knowledge and they became devotee. Okay? So this is the perfect system. And not those devout people, you give and say, Bhagavad, who will I give back the Bhagavatam? So there's no place in my house. Right? Nonetheless, there is a mystery about all these different activities of sacrifice, and one should know this mystery. Here, let's hear about the mystery. Sacrifices sometimes take different forms according to the particular faith of the performer. Right? So if you have faith in the devas, then you are going to worship the devas. If you have faith in the Supreme Brahman, then you are going to do your Swadhyaya so that you reach Brahman, or maybe you do Ashtanga Yoga. Right? So when one's faith reaches the stage of transcendental knowledge, the performer of sacrifices should be considered more advanced than those who simply sacrifice material possession without knowledge, or without attainment of knowledge. Sacrifice remains in the material platform, not spiritual level. So you go to every temple, so you will give one temple this much, you go another one, everywhere you're going to give. Right? But there's no knowledge. So therefore, one hand you will give, left hand you will give the donation, and right hand you're going to commit sinful activities. Right? Or I say left hand meaning that, okay, you know what to do. Let me give something left hand relation, right? And then the right hand meaning you're going to just engage fully in sinful activities. And so if we don't have knowledge, our so-called charity has zero spiritual benefit. Right? So that's why throughout the world, people donate. Throughout the world, they give in charity. Beggars also, they give, right? Isn't it? Everyone they give. But they have no knowledge. Therefore, they have no spiritual knowledge. Real knowledge culminates in Krishna consciousness, the highest stage of transcendental knowledge. Without the elevation of knowledge, sacrifices are simply material activities. Very simple. Everybody goes to school, they sit in school, 10, 15 years, right? What is sacrifice? 10, 15 years you have to sit on that school bench and listen to a teacher while learning how to write your exam, right? It's a sacrifice. But there is no pleasure. There's no happiness. Right? And because there was no transcendental knowledge, so these people, they remain materially contaminated, materially attached. So even though they are doing sacrifice, but their sacrifice is material. When however they are elevated to the level of transcendental knowledge, all such activities enter onto the spiritual path. Let's say mathematics. You learn calculation. I ask, what is the use of mathematics in Krishna consciousness? Because I like mathematics and it's good with mathematics. So, what is the use of mathematics? Right? In Krishna consciousness. All those formulas and equations and all that stuff is learned. Okay? So, it remains in material activity. It had no use for me as such, except that I learned how to count, right? But if I was interested in astrology, right? That mathematics will come in a first-hand tool, right? Okay, this is why you learn mathematics. It's not used. And it calculates your karma. All this thing here is about karma, right? So if you have proper knowledge, then you can learn about karma, then you can tell people, these are your karma, right? And don't just guide them so that they do karma count and then they still go to heaven, right? Your knowledge can be used in Krishna's service. So that was something natural. The Brahmanas would go door to door, Prabhupada wrote in one of the talk. He said that there was this astrology and medicine was available to the poorest of men. How? Because the Brahmanas will go door to door, right? And all that you will have to do, whatever is in your home, one glass of milk, one handful of rice, you will give to the Brahmana. And this Brahmana is highly intelligent, right? Is highly intelligent. You have some disease, he will tell you, do this, you don't have to pay any hospital bills, right? This one lady, she was with us. Suddenly she called me, she asked me if I can get some donation for her. I say, wow, what happened? So she told me her sister suddenly got a stroke. And she was in hospital for 34 days. And every day they spent 1 lakh. And I was shocked when she called me and asked me if I can get some donation. Because like a sister and a daughter, and they're all working people. You're working people. So I said that, you what? Did you not save your money? What did you do? And they worked really worked hard. So she told me, every day they spend 1 lakh in the hospital. 34 days means 34 lakh. Their life saving was gone. And on top of it, now this girl, she had booked an apartment. She was buying an apartment. So already she had invested her money, but they don't have a house. So money was sitting there, right? And the mother till today is still lying in bed. And this girl has to take care of the mother. She couldn't go out anymore.
So that girl recovered.
Yeah, it was just a baby. Right. This is how you can eat up your wealth. So I'm speaking of mathematics, right? Knowledge. Right? So the Brahmanas. So Prabhupada is speaking about this. I think check it. Say that the Brahmanas will just go door to door and they'll be giving knowledge. Simple thing. What you should do, what you should not do to keep your body proper so that it doesn't kill you. Then, what is your karma? So they will just check the Janma Patri, right? And in exchange, they are giving 1 cup of milk and 1 handful of rice. And now, if you're wealthy, you're not going to give only 1 cup of milk, right? It's below your status. So if what Prabhupada is saying, the richest man could afford, right, getting knowledge, real and proper knowledge from the Vedya and astrology. And they will live decent life, health-wise, and they will not commit sinful activities because they know their karma. So knowledge is higher than sacrifice of wealth. So without elevation of knowledge, sacrifices are simply material activities. When however they are elevated to the level of transcendental knowledge, all such activities enter under the spiritual platform. Now, I give the example. So why should we have good health? And why should I read my Janma Patri? 2 reasons. I should have good health so that I'm fit to practice sadhana. Alright? And I should know my Janma Patri so that I don't commit sinful activities. It's not that give me the remedy. Alright? Now I'm suffering. Give me the remedy. No. They'll tell you what is the tendency of this child, how you should raise this child that he or she should not commit sinful activities. Alright. So then there is spiritual elevation. Depending on differences in consciousness. Sacrificial activities are sometimes called karma-kan and sometimes jnana-kan, knowledge in the pursuit of knowledge. So mostly people, they will do karma-kan, right? So, okay, Ramana has come, let me give some donation, let me take some advice. Right, and I will do my puja, this deva, that deva. This is not karma kand. Right? Somebody who's more intelligent. He would then think, how can I satisfy this deva, that deva? He would think, how can I come out of the cycle of birth and death? Now, this is also intricate, right? Very, very intricate, very difficult to understand. So Krishna gives an advice. Tadvidi pranipatena
तद्विधि परिपातेन
परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
परीक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानम्
उपदिश्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः
ज्ञानी तत्त्वदर्शिनः that knowledge of different sacrifices, Vidhi try to understand paripatena by approaching a spiritual master, pariprasena by submissive inquiries, sevaya by the rendering of service, updeshyanti they will initiate, te you jnanam into knowledge, jnananan the self-realized, tattva of the truth, darshana seers. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Purport. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of discipline succession from the Lord Himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciple succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own processes, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam 6.3.19 says, Dharmam tu sakshad Bhagavatam paritam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. Nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant, without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submissions constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Nor one should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries become perfect.
Now, this verse is British, they attacked India. Right? So they saw that India is very strong. Very, very strong. So they decided that the way they can dominate India is by attacking their philosophy. Right? Attacking their philosophy. And the number one target was this verse. That you are blind fools. So how is it that the Indian society, the general population, were blind fools? I'll explain. I have to understand, see, I didn't know because I was also among everybody else. So even though I studied a lot of Prabhupada books, but gradually, I have to study the history of India. Then I could figure out. So, the Vedic literature is from time immemorial. Alright? So we speak of Sanatana Dharma. You know, just like this one man one time came in our office. So he saw our poster and we were speaking, talking. So he came and he was from a small town, from South India, small town. I can't remember the full conversation, but one thing he told me. He said that my mother knew exactly what to cook for me when I'm sick. And she will cure me of any disease. Right? She will cure me of any disease. I just told you of this lady, right? 1 lakh per day she spent. And how suddenly she had this brain stroke. I don't know what happened, why it happened. Right? And she said, and here we are struggling. Because however much medicine we are taking, we are not able to cure ourselves. Alright? So why are we taking that example? Because of all the courses that I am running, I also learn it, from the ladies who come to teach the cooking, etc. Because this Vedic literature covers every sphere of life, material and spiritual both. Right. And the knowledge comes automatically. Right? Now this lady who knew how to cure his son. Alright? This boy's wife doesn't know anything, right? Right? But that mother, she learned it from her mother-in-law. Mother-in-law, right? The mother-in-law learned it from her. Okay? Okay? So it comes like natural. So the entire Indian society, it was inherent. Now somebody is coming and questioning, is it true? British had to break the economy of India. So they attacked the cows. Right?
How the cow?
Because the cows is the economy of India.
What did you do to the cows?
Milk.
What did they do to the cows? They say you drink milk, you drink ghee gives you heart attack. Right? Yes. They say if you take ghee, you become sick. And they are in power. And fools are sitting as students, right? You drink more than a little, 1 quart of milk, you'll become sick. Is what they preach. Right? Then they bring machinery. You will do more work than your good. So they grow the economy of India by attacking the cows and the bulls. First thing they got rid of the bulls. Alright? So I'm just explaining how the education was broken at some point, whereas naturally for centuries and centuries was going on automatically. Right? Now, the present generation, they are going back and studying the Vedas. Alright? So when you trace back, then you will understand why your grandfather, your great grandfather automatically drank milk and was strong. Why they had all curd, chas, everything they had. No disease. Butter, no disease. Right? So now they're learning all this. Today you go in the West, they call it Ayurvedic cooking. You see, what is Ayurvedic cooking? Every house is Ayurvedic cooking, right? Isn't it? So now it is like, how do you know? Do you know anything about cooking?
Me?
Yeah.
Little bit.
Little bit, okay? Right? No. You don't know how to balance spices, you don't know how to balance vegetables, right? So this was knowledge from God. And all the family members, the women in the house, they were blind followers of their mother-in-laws, grandmother-in-laws, great-grandmother, blind followers. Alright? Did you say you don't question? Philosophy. I'm coming to philosophy. I'm giving you home example. I'm giving you philosophy. Oh, you believe? They say there are devas. You believe? Have you seen any deva? You believe? You say you go to heaven after death. Have you seen heaven? You see you say there is soul. Have you seen the soul? You speak of rebirth, reincarnation. Anybody has seen reincarnation? They put the doubt. They say, oh, you follow blindly whatever your great grandfather said. You understand? So, blind following. So therefore, the Indians, but this time, they are blind followers. They say they have blind faith. So I'll explain to you from where the blind faith comes. Because it was just natural, it was part of the daily life. So therefore, to approach a guru was natural. Right? Every household, they had a spiritual master. It was natural. Just like you have father and mother, similarly you have guru, teacher. And now here, so that's why Krishna spoke in this beginning of this chapter. What did he say? Evam parampara praptam imam rajashayo viduhu sa kalere neha mahata yoga nashta param tapa. So you should learn this kalha, this verse. 4.2. Evam parampara praptam. So I just gave you the example of cooking. Everybody was following cooking because mother said, grandmother said, okay. So it was fine. And then suddenly came and said, oh, is it true? Ghee gives you health. Ghee gives you fat and you get fat attack, right? And don't eat, don't eat this food, they give you diabetes. Alright? Anyway, I don't want to get into all this, but they are bursting all these philosophies because while they are selling their sugars, then their own artificial sugar, they're selling their medicine. So if everybody is healthy, eating proper food, nobody will buy your medicine. Alright? So here, so this parampara is broken and therefore Krishna is re-establishing. So he said, if you want to learn the truth, We just heard so many sacrifices. The brahmachari should do this, the grihastha should do this, and then the karmakandi do this, then the brahmavadis do this, and the yogis they do this, right? You see, it is so complicated. I remember I was reading books, so, oh my god, I can't figure out what I am. I'm supposed to be Hindu, I call my head or tail of my religion. I stuck strong. I didn't move here and there. I couldn't make head or tail. How do you practice? Who will tell you? If ISKCON will come and start holding our heads A, B, C, right? And give us the path. We'll be nowhere. So here, this verse, let's study. Tat vidhi pranipatena. So now all these sacrifices, you want to know, understand these sacrifices. So vidhi, so you should learn how. Pranipatena. What is this paripatena? Approach a spiritual master. So pranipatena, this actually means dandavat.
Pranipad.
Paripatena. Pranam. Okay? Pranam, meaning offer pranam. So just heard Prabhupada saying that you can speak to the whole world, alright? But who will listen to you? Disciples. Alright? So Prabhupada is saying, you can go on the podium, speak to the whole world. Right? Disciple is somebody who's doing pranam, who's sitting and listening, asking questions, asking instruction how to practice. Alright? So then what's the use of this program? Only challenging you, asking question, challenging you. A disciple is somebody who will ask questions. What for?
To understand.
To learn. Alright? So pranam, meaning they are respectful. They are respectful, they want to learn. So pranipatena. Pariprashnena sevaya. So they are asking questions. Prashna means question. Pariprashna means
Submissive.
Not asking
With us.
in a way to challenge, asking to learn.
pranipatena means submission. Okay? Prashna. Pariprashna means you go asking and asking and asking fully until you understand.
Submissive.
Pariprashnena means to inquire exhaustively,
In depth, like.
in depth. In depth. Sevaya. And now, isn't that you will only ask question? You only going to ask question? You must do some seva. If you don't do seva, is seva the dakshina? Right? You must give dakshina to the guru. So how will you give the dakshina? You must do seva. If you don't do seva, knowledge doesn't sink. Upadesh Shanti Tegya. So he can give the Upadesh because he has seen the truth. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. I just said how couldn't it healthy. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord Himself. I just gave you, right? I know how you learn from your mother, your grandmother, great grandmother, right? Everybody in the how you know exactly how to kill this boy and girl in your house. Right? You didn't have to go and run to the doctor to give you one tablet and make the child sick. Right? No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. So the Lord is the original spiritual master and the person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. So now, women here, keep two. One example is your cooking, and the other example is your knowledge of the soul. Alright? You will know how to keep your body fit because you know how to cook. Alright? And you will take care of your body because you know you are not the body, you are the soul. Right? And you will want, so that knowledge is required, so that knowledge is coming from Krishna himself in disciplic succession. Alright? And Krishna, who is also the Purush, who is the maintainer, is Vishnu. He has provided all ingredients for us to eat. Right? Same Lord. Right? And then he has given the science of Ayurveda how to cook, how to combine herbs and vegetables, what to eat when. The whole science, right? So there is a branch of Ayurveda knowledge so that you increase your Ayu time. Alright? And why should you have proper Ayu? So that you can learn about soul. If you're just suffering, headache all the time, how do you sit and study? So all women who have to work, you have to keep your kitchen proper so that you yourself are healthy, you keep your family members healthy, and you should have knowledge of soul. Both of them are coming from Vishnu. So Parampara is coming from Vishnu, and in the disciplic succession, so they can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. As it is. Now tell me one story. Right in my cooking class. So here come this cook. She's doing such nice cooking at this. And I have brought in a Ayurvedic doctor who will give the philosophy, okay? The Ayurvedic doctor is giving her philosophy, and the cook is putting all the ingredients there, right there in the cooking class. Cook is saying one thing, Ayurveda is saying one thing, and they are flashing in cooking class, and I've got registered students. One was already and the one was junior. Alright, so the doctor who was junior said, yes, Mataji, you're correct in your parampara, this is how you do it.
So who was right, Mataji?
Don't ask me. I'm giving you example of broken disciplic succession. Understand? So if you have a mother-in-law, say, I know you don't know. Who will be correct? Alright?
I'll say you are right.
I'll
say you are right.
keep the peace in the house, right?
That's most important.
This is how you're suffering in this Kalpura. I learned huge. So that's why I'm giving Bhagavad Gita class. Practical. Because Bhagavad Gita is practical. It is not a philosophy in the air, right? Philosophy usually means theory which nobody believes in. So I'm giving you relevant information using the words of Krishna Prabhupada Acharyas. and manufacturing his own process. As is in the fashion of the foolish pretenders. Alright? Okay? So maybe the cook gradually, because mother-in-law succession is good. So they added something, and here comes this Ayurvedic doctor, right? Alright. So they manufacture a style of cooking. Alright? And the cooking of philosophies for you also. It's not a joke. Because whatever you are eating is a philosophy that is indoctrinated in you. A philosophy that you should have sprout. Right? Should have, so every sprouts. Okay? Now in this Ayurveda, what they say, is it budding light? Right? Is it budding light? And when there is budding light, it increases pranas very fast. And they don't cause disease. And they say kacha. Alright? Ayurveda say boil it. Alright? And every Indian today is eating sprouts. Right? Manufactured process. Alright? Eat raw. Raw is healthy. Right? Eat raw. Raw is healthy. Okay? What if your fire digestion is not proper? Alright? So those who then and then, I'm telling you because I was reading all that stuff. Right? So in Ayurveda, so they explain Ayurveda and yogic principles. Ayurveda and yogic principles. So he explained that when you go become Vanaprast, you become Vanaprast, very Vanaprast means you go in the bun. What do you find in the bun?
Kandamul.
Right?
वो जमीन के नीचे जो होते हैं वेजिटेबल्स को क्या बोलते हैं? जमीन के नीचे जो उगते हैं ना, इंग्लिश में क्या बोलते हैं उसको? नाम नहीं
जमीन के नीचे उगती है चीजें, आलू, स्वीट पोटैटोस, कंदमूल, ऐसे सब, और
इंग्लिश
फ्रूट्स और ये सब मिलेंगे.
Yes. So you are going to eat kacha fruits, right? And you need to know which fruit you can eat, right?
Which is edible.
Right? And then the moola, whatever you are able to put up a fire, right? So this raw was prescribed for this Vanaprast. Can any one of us today go in the one? We won't survive even one day, right? Meaning that people 1 century ago, they were so strong, right? Physically, they had such good health. They had good fire digestion, right? So they could survive on all this. So who us, if you ask me to eat a raw cabbage, am I able to eat a raw cabbage? I'll tell you how we ate raw cabbage, and those who are older. I grew up on cabbage pickle. Today I can't eat any cabbage. Do you know what they are doing? I'm speaking parampara, okay? Every house did it. They will cut the cabbage very fine. And then what do they do with it? Who knows? They put it in the
sun.
sun.
That's good.
Alright? They dry it in the sun. They will have cabbage, carrots, and beans, that French beans. Right? They put it in the sun. Then they will, so after it has half dry or something like that, half dry, then they will put spices. Alright? They will put spices and oil, 0 baht.
बात
Gas. Zero gas. It's a pity. It's a pity that people don't know. People in the city don't know this.
We also make pickle Mataji, I think.
You made up that like that.
Yes, Mataji. Not cabbage, we make.
I'm speaking cabbage specifically. Alright? I'm speaking about cooked up methods of self-realization. Mr. Prabhupada is speaking of no one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process. So you're supposed to be Vanaprasth. Vanaprasth go in the one and you're going to find your cabbage, you're going to eat cabbage. Right? Your fire of digestion doesn't. Today you cannot, but then you how to do. Alright? So now today in modern society, when they say eat healthy means you eat raw. And they will become sick. You understand what I'm saying? Manufacture your own process. As in the fashion of the foolish pretenders. So somebody caught some news from bygone age. This is what they do, this is healthy. It got transported somewhere else. And these foolish people, they filter out whatever information they have, and then they come back and sell it to India. And all the Indians say yes, yes, yes. Right? So they mess up. Right? They mess up. So the Bhagavatam 6.319 says, Dharma to Sakshat Bhagavat Pranita. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the light. Right? Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one on the right to the right path. Nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. I've given you a classic example. Alright? So you have read in the book that the Vanavasi was eating raw. So you go in your country, you read in from your country, you're reading, and then you see a nutritionist eating raw is very good. Applicable to some people, not applicable to others. And then that raw also, how did you treat it? Meaning that what do you add to it? Alright, no, you just pick the cabbage and eat, right? One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. So in any line, material or spiritual, you need a spiritual master or some type of guide. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, not tussling with him, No, I know better. No, it's not like this. Right? What will you learn then? The Guru will say, okay, go. You know how to do, please fine. And go. Right? You know. So in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a lineal servant without false prestige. So the basic system is that we believe I'm the body. Alright? Believing on the body immediately means I have so much ego. Alright? So the knowledge, the Vedic knowledge, is to break the false ego. So that's why pranam. And we go to offer pranam to Guru, to Krishna. Alright? So that's why we say the first teacher is the mother, who will teach the child to say pranam to the father, to the uncles, to the grandpas, right? First, Guru, pranam. So when now we are growing up, ego is becoming bigger and bigger, right? After you cross your 5 and you think you know, you become 16 and perfect in knowledge, right? So this knowledge is actually given before 16 years old. Right? Before 16 years old, from the age of 5, when the child is ready to accept, be corrected, ready to needs a maid in the house, a servant in the house. No, this is how you are trained. So, there's this sannyasi in class like this. So, he was scheduled, he has a scheduled class. So, every time when the students walk in, they find everything in disarray. Everything in disarray, chairs here, this, And the student will walk and say, but we just had class now and everything was perfectly organized or all set. How is it that when we're coming back 1 hour later, everything is topsy-turvy? So one time, one student came little early. And what did he see? You know what he see? What he saw? His button one of my brothers, sannyasi, what he did? He was pushing away all the chairs and tables. Whatever is there, just putting everything in disarray. Alright? And when the student came in, they had to pull the rugs, right? Put the chairs, everything. Why was he doing this?
So that they get the habit of serving.
Menial. Menial servant.
So he did not question his guru.
Sorry?
He did not question his guru. That disciple.
The student who came in, I don't know, but he got the message at least that the teacher is saying that not everything is set for you and you got to come and sit around. Do menial service because that will break your false ego. Then you can receive the knowledge. Right? Like Sudama and Krishna. Right? They joined their guru's ashram. Sudama was Brahmana and Krishna was from royal family. Right? Royal family. And what did they do? They went to the forest, they were collecting firewood. Right? They didn't say, oh, I sit in horse carriage. Rut. I sit in rut. Oh, I'm Brahmana, you sit on this Vyasasana and everybody come and do pranam to me. This Brahmana boy, okay? My father is sitting on Vyasasana and everybody say, Panditji, Panditji, Dakshina. Right? No. So Brahman boy and Kshatriya boy, they were sent to the firewood in the forest. Sevaya. So they have to do. They have to work like menial servant without false prestige. Why? Because these Kshatriyas, they are very powerful. They're extremely powerful. If their ego, their false ego is not broken, they will become brutal. Right? When they will have power, Kshatriya, they own the entire land. Right? They will make everybody become their slaves. They will loot everybody.
Land. Property.
Yes. So therefore, the false ego have to be broken. And the Brahmanas, they say, I'm supreme. I'm representative of Vishnu. You worship me. That's exactly what happened, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what happened and everything collapsed. Now, satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute. Inquiry and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Meaning you should inquire. You don't understand something, you should inquire. But how do you inquire? With submission, if you're ready to do any jharu puja. Right? The Pandavas, they clean the ashram of the sages. They carry their water. Right? They collect fruits. Everything they did for the sages. Right? That's why they became Pandava. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. See, like we read before, that these sacrifices, there is a mystery about all these different activities of sacrifice. There's a mystery. How does it actually work? Is it that, I just do a sacrifice and the devas going to come and take it?
No.
Oh, I'm going to do this, I sit in class and automatically I'm going to learn? No. So here is explained, there is a mystery. Why is it that some people learn and others, even though sitting for years and years in class, learn nothing? Alright? So the mystery is being revealed here. See, Srila Prabhupada is taking so much trouble to explain all this to us. So that, remember Parampara is broken, previously automatically we will do. Right? Blind faith. Actually, you will come to a point after you have heard, immediately your doctor said, take this pill, you will take it. After you have understood. Right? In the beginning, so much inquiry, yes, I'm saying myself, nobody could ever give me anything without asking millions of questions. You have to explain each and everything. And even after they explain, I will run and look for my books. I will check whether he's correct or not. But after understanding now, I just say, I know what he's doing. Right? So inquiry and then submission, meaning it is an intelligent submission. It is an intelligent submission. It is not blind as such. You just do it blindly because it's proper. You didn't question it. One must be able to pass a test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. So if you find your understanding, alright, you should know you had the blessing of the Guru. Alright? You find you are understanding. Otherwise, the knowledge will remain a mystery. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Don't ask nonsense questions. Right? Just because you want to challenge, you don't want to learn, you waste time wasters, right? Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiry. So three things: submission, service, and inquiry. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries become perfect. Right? Was spoken with love today, right? You got an idea? Right? Got an idea? What is blind faith? What is intelligent faith which becomes automatic? Right? Are you ready to distribute books? Then I will answer.
Yes, Mataji. But Mataji, today I have to go for Masi's 20.
Every day, every Tuesday, every Sunday, every day there is something, right? Are you going to distribute books? Then I will answer.
I will distribute Mataji, but my Masi's 25th anniversary is there.
Okay, not today.
Yes.
Whichever day, we have a whole month to go to
Yes,
marathon, right?
Mataji, in ISKCON temples, why everybody bows to the left side for everyone, like for Guru also, for God also, why? Why they don't do direct?
Even my father, automatically. Forgotten what? So explain. I forgot how much information can I
Store.
Yes.
If someone is preacher and we don't want to argue with anybody, and opposite person thought that he's coward. Why it is so?
We don't want to.
Okay. The other person think that we are coward. Coward.
You're coward.
Because we don't want to fight with, argue with them.
Huh.
No, it's
We
okay.
want to live in a peace. And
Yes.
that person thought
Yeah, we should know when to be coward and when to be valor, right?
but peaceful person always or spiritual person think that we should avoid. Don't fight. But other person think that he's a coward. So I think
That's
so.
what I'm saying. We should know when to have courage.
Courage is there, but
No, I'm saying we should know when to be courageous and considerate, right? And when to just leave the person aside so that we can be peaceful, right? If there is anything for you to gain from the conversation, if there's going to be some outcome in which you are going to gain, alright? Gain only in terms of spiritual advancement. Gain in sense that not that our ahankar will go high, I have won over this person. I just read one passage. And so Srila Rupa Goswami, one of our acharyas, disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he had written one verse in one book called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So so another great sage. So he came and he read this. He said, "Oh, why you wrote like this? Why did you write like this? No, understand. They are all acharyas. Rupa Goswami is acharya, and the other one also he's a very knowledgeable, great scholar. So why you have written like this?" So Rupa Goswami said, yes, you are right. I will change it. Alright? So then Rupa Goswami's disciple, Shiraji Goswami, who's a super genius in grammar and everything, what he did, he cornered that sage. Guru has said, yes, I will change it. Okay, yes, you're right, I will change it. Disciple went and cornered. Alright? This great scholar. And he showed him, because this super genius, Jeev Goswami. There's not a second Jeev Goswami on this earth. He's so intelligent. And he was a nephew. Alright, he was a nephew also. In his younger engagement.
yes.
And the other scholar was elderly. So he said everything, proved everything, and established that his uncle, Rupa Goswami, is correct. Right? So that other scholar he came and apologized, yes, you're correct now, this Jeev, he has shown his proper. Alright? You understand? Rupa Goswami said, yes, you're correct, I'll change. The student went and defeated the scholar, and the scholar came back and said, yes, you're correct. Rupa Goswami called his nephew, Jiv Goswami, and said, "You are very proud. You're proud of your knowledge. You get out from here." Alright? Send him out. He said, "You can't stay with us. You're very proud. You're studying. You become so proud. Now you're showing your scholarship. You know, in this. Right? Understand what's going on? So, the path of Krishna consciousness is very difficult. Extremely difficult.
Yes.
Right? And the entire thing was a question of ego. Alright? It was a question of ego here.
Yes, correct. It's a question of ego, no
Alright?
doubt.
So, here, this is among scholars, alright? It's among scholars. Ego also is coming, right? The whole program was about ego.
But sometimes
Somebody else may have physical stuff, right? I'm speaking here on the top most intellectual class. So what was the issue? The issue was ego. And here we are speaking that vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Right? If you want to make spiritual advancement, you should know where to put down your head. Alright? We are not surrendering to each and everybody. And sometimes you just have to just neglect people. Alright? You're not losing anything. If somebody, like we say, you say this, that one say, yes, you're right. It's okay. You didn't lose anything. Did you lose anything? You gained peace in your house.
But sometimes, Mataji, we may be right also.
Whether you are right or wrong.
It's just a general dislike. Means we may be right in certain, like how this or what we want to say and all. So at that moment, can these things be solved amicably? Like we can come to a consensus among us, like instead of the egos getting hurt.
Yeah, see,
That is a tough part.
yes, yeah. See, this is a very, very complicated issue because in this Kaliyuga, everybody wants to be leader. Right? Why are families breaking things? Right? Because everybody wants to be leader. Finally, everybody's loser. Right? Nobody's winning, everybody's losing. Right? So therefore, today so many books are being written. How to make relationship, how to sit and hear me out. Right? Whereas people are just automatic. Everybody knew when a child is speaking. Right? Right? If somebody this person is childish, so they knew how to deal with somebody who's childish. They tolerate. Right? You don't take it seriously. You go on with your work. Now you have to prove, no, I was right, you are wrong. Let us sit and discuss it out. Take your time, study how to do that. Making one program only, go back home after God, you're not going to solve anything living in this world. Right? You win one round, but how many times you have wasted winning the rounds, right? You have to understand one thing. If you are to be spiritual, you have to be more and more secluded and alone. Even while living with
People.
because other people are not going to walk the path. And all those unnecessary, I'm superior, who are you? Let it be, let everybody be superior. It's okay.
But it goes like this in lifetime. So who will solve the people problem? Question is there. Okay, people get used to all these things.
Yeah,
People
so-
don't understand
the
what is right.
question answer is very simple. You go on focusing and developing your relationship with Krishna. You have to come out from the material platform. There is no solution. No solution. I have lived my life. I can tell you 100%. You cannot solve any material problem. You cannot solve any relationship. They leave you alone. If you just focus on your Bhagavad Gita, you do what you have to do, whatever is your own duty, you do it to the best of your capacity. The world will leave you alone. And you are not going to be alone because you are going to be with your Vishnu. So you have to develop that relationship with Krishna. Whatever is being said, whatever instruction is being given, chant Krishna's name, do japa, have your deity, take care of your deity, read the books, celebrate festivals, be in satsanga, right? This is your spiritual life. Your material life, you go on with all the drama. Don't participate in it. People get fed up with it, they won't even look twice after you.
Very true.
People get fed up.
Fed up from
Hmm.
like from spiritual people.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, if you want to be in that company, then you can take it. You know, one foot here, one foot there, a little bit here, most there. Take it. No solution to material problems. Zero.
Very deep meaning.
Hmm?
Very deep meaning. Means, and so much to learn.
See, the way people have been from the day you know them till today, they still the same. Have we been able to change anybody?
We have to change ourselves. That's it.
So you have internal development has to happen. Internal. And let the world pass. How to practice this?
It's very, very difficult. But takes
It becomes easy. It
but
becomes
it
easy
takes
to
time.
practice.
But it takes time.
It becomes easy to practice. Yeah, see, going back home, my God had one guru said that we saw that here's a wide door and there is so much crowd, right? Everybody will rush in to go back home, back to the hotel. But what happened? The crowd comes and then the door becomes narrower and narrower until it becomes single file. So what does that mean? You have to leave behind the baggage, right? You have to stay focused. So we have to decide what we want for ourselves, right? See, now we are practicing Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, we are in groups, right? The Jnana Yogis, they are single, alright? Whereas we are taking strength of groups. But then we should also be able to know what is our group and how to take Sangha, alright? This is a great science. It's not a simple thing to move out of this world. But my answer to any question is that you cannot solve any material problem. You have to leave behind. And working on ourselves. And here it is less without ambitions, our false prestige.
Mataji, but one more thing that Mataji said that when it's your mother-in-law, then you just agree whatever she's saying. So Mataji, you are saying that leave behind the material, but if you are married, so you can't leave anybody behind.
I'm not saying that you physically leave anyone behind.
But what if they're doing something that is everyday cooking?
I'm just saying, when I'm saying leave behind, I'm saying that you go in the forest, right? I'm saying internal development. I'm not saying you run away from your home, you leave your husband, your children, you run away. Listen to this.
No, Mataji, like
See, I just said someone who is like senior to you, right? I didn't specifically mean this. Your grandmother says, right? Your grandfather says, right? You say yes, yes. Right? Your husband says, what you say yes? And after some time he discovers he was wrong. He will not say you were right. He will just keep quiet. And you have to learn to keep quiet also. Lot of psychology. Because there's no more good food. Alright? But there is no more good food. There's no more training dealings with superiors and with equals. That training is that therefore the household become like this. Everybody dominates. Then suppose we impose a family. Things have become very bad now. Relationships, family members. Right? You understand what I was saying? That just leave it. I'm not saying that you know what you do in the forest.
No, like I meant if they're doing some asking us to do some practice which is not right, like for example eating something which is not good for our health and for the children in the house everywhere. But they're saying no, this is right, this is right. So now they eat the wrong thing.
Oh, you mean that they make you eat something that's wrong?
Yeah.
They are poor children, right? Sometimes mothers force them to eat something that's not good for them. Right? That's how we suffer. We can put ourselves in the hands of others who are ignorant. Unfortunate situation. Right? The child's belly is full, still the mother is pushing in the mouth. So Prabhupada give the example. The child is crying, speaking about the misery of this material world. The child is crying. Everybody is trying to figure out what is wrong with this child and giving the wrong thing to the child to pacify the child. He's miserable because the child is not able to speak and say, my stomach is pain. So the mother is thinking he has a headache. Right? So it's miserable. We're not tuned with other people. We're not able to understand what is going on in somebody's life. So that's why I say you are at the end of the day, you are alone. You are born alone and you will live your entire life alone. You will die also alone. If you do not take shelter of the Supreme Personality of God, who's your only friend? Who's your only protector? Who's your maintainer? Who's your guide?
Only the Krishna.
Yes. So those who don't develop their relationship with Krishna, very easily lost. actually we are not alone. We are not alone because nobody can take birth without being protected by the devas, the rishis, Paramatma, right? Nobody takes birth and nobody can survive to go through all the accidents of life, right? Otherwise, as soon as you're born, you die. If the mother doesn't take care of the child, why is it that Krishna has created motherhood? This mood of motherhood, emotional motherhood. If that was not instilled in the heart of the mother, the child will die. Right? So actually, this is all from Bhagavatam. Everything is from Bhagavatam still, right from Bhagavatam. Hmm? Anyway, there's a lot to study, I can't say everything. It's a huge to study. Hmm? There's material organization, there is spiritual path. So now what we have discussed is the mixing of material organization, which is now right now disorganization, and spiritual path. And because we are not following spiritual path, therefore we are not developing good qualities, therefore our material organization is collapsing. So the more we will follow the spiritual path, our good qualities will develop and material life becomes more tolerable even when it is intolerable. I'll ask a simple question. Do you know what is happening right now in the entire world or in your country? We are sitting here very peacefully. Do we know what tension is going on the political level? We don't know. But still we are trusting, right? We are trusting and we are going on with our duties. If you don't have faith in the Supreme Lord, you cannot survive. Right? You don't know tomorrow what can be set on fire. The ocean is right here. You don't know who may come and attack your ocean. It has happened, right? Right here in the sea. You don't know. You know, when it's really, I don't know. I kept on looking at Radha last week. Because some years back, looking at Radha last week and admiring how beautiful they are. All the outfits, the flowers, and then the world is getting inundated with all beautiful temples, deities, so on, so on. And I was thinking, about how the temples were attacked, deities were broken, right? Thinking about it, and say, here we are enjoying the beauty of all these deities. And I keep on thinking of this, and then suddenly, you know what happened? Coronavirus came, and all temples were closed. For 2 years. Right? I just heard, one Pujari, I shouldn't say Pujari, but he's like the head of one big temple in Vrindavan. There was flood, There's flood in just now, 2 months back. There's flood in Vrindavan. So this Mahanta he was saying, you're from, I think, Radha Vallabh temple. He said, don't forget that Vrindavan has been conquered and looted. Right? They say right now the way people are behaving in Vrindavan, the way the commercial has come in Vrindavan, don't think there won't be any reaction.
Reaction.
Reaction. Yes, you don't think, say, you build up, you push Yamuna Ji out of its course. She reclaimed her own land. You know? So, the point that I'm making is that if we don't come out of this material world, history repeats itself in different ways. You know, okay, this was past history, that happened. Because people have become urban. No more following regular principles. Yesterday I saw one video. It's horrible actually. It is Bhakti Bihari temple. So they were opening, that treasure house. They have some place to digging, and they found nothing. See, just like in South India, all those temples, they still have the treasury, right? Yeah. But in North India, everything was looted. Right? Everything was looted. So this one young boy was explaining. Young boy he did this astrology at a young age. Forgot his name. Vidyas, forgot his name. So he was saying Lakshmi Devi left India.
Lakshmi Devi left India.
Yeah.
Only North India.
Left the whole of India.
Okay.
Not only North India, whole India, right? Lakshmi Devi left India, right? So India was viewed as Sole Kichiriya. Alright? So the thieves came. So now in this video showing how this one came and that one looted that temple. And then whatever was left, and they took it and put it in some treasury in Mathura. So this young boy, because this is all like they are anyone. So he says Lakshmi Devi left India and went west. So India became poverty-stricken, right? Now, when we study Bhagavatam, we study this Vedic culture, Varnashram system. It speaks of dharma, arth, kam, moksha. Right? Now, what has happened? Your arth left. Dharma, arth, kam, moksha. So when your earth left me and Lakshmi Devi left, your calm reduced, right? No one joining. Everything became plastic. Right? Plastic age in India. Everything, because Marble age now become Italian tiles. Right? Before everything was this, what you call this? Pot. Earthen pot. Now it becomes plastic pot. Right? Why did Artha collapse?
Dharma.
Dharma was gone. Dharma was gone. Because Artha is dependent on Dharma. That's why we are all suffering in our whole household. And there is no Dharma. Right? Dharma was really meaning, I can't go into everything. We learn, it years to learn. It is the meaning of Dharma.
But why North India is more poor than South India?
Is it? I don't know.
You said no, like the temples in South India are good, they have present, but North India.
But
it is more looted. Easy target.
Now they are looting it, no?
Who?
They are being looted, no? Everything comes to the temple. Somebody or the others looting, no? So these are all science, right? Science. So how about everywhere is the message? Get out, get out. You cannot fix what is broken. So nothing very determined. We should learn. We are under no illusion. But it's really fascinating. We don't even have a house to live. Yes, right? I mean, just look at the government who has a house to live. We don't even own a house. We're living on top of each other, right? Anyway, we can't solve the problems of this world. Again, I'm repeating, how God told us, get out. Come. Maybe it already came under you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Oh my God, we spoke too much today.
All the tablets that we made and later